Hello, this is Vix, and you're watching Random Witchcraft. Today we're going to be starting a new little series, pretty much a Witchcraft 101. Give you tips and tricks, show you a couple spells, but today, best place to start is book recommendations. Keep on watching for great choices to look into. First, we're going to start off with a couple reference books, things to reference and give you a little direction when you want to perform your spells, and give you a little insight on spells from other people and how they practice. The first one would be this very large book. Not only can it be used as a weapon, but it also is very informative. The first section, the first part of this book actually does give you a little bit of insight and history and that sort of thing. And then you have many different spells, all categorized for the intention. Yeah. It's called The Encyclopedia of 5,000 Spells by an author that I can't necessarily pronounce. Now, next, definitely a great reference book, especially when you want to make those spells all your own, is the LLWELLYN'S Complete Book of Correspondences. This book is great for when you want to cross-reference and get an idea of what things correspond with the intentions that you want to make, whether it be like deities, plants, candle colors, that sort of thing. And definitely has a lot of information. And both those books aren't necessarily books you read from beginning to end. They're more just flipping through and getting the information you need. In this next section are a few books more on the tools and give them a little bit of understanding of what they're used for and give you a little insight in how they're used. The first one, it's more of like a recipe book. You got the Incense, Oils, and Brews by Scott Cunningham. It gives you a little idea of if you are to buy some of the things that are mentioned in this book, or if you're not able to, you can actually make them yourself. A lot of good choices in here. And our next one is the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, also by Scott Cunningham. He wrote a lot of books in his lifetime. This one gives you a lot of the different plants that are useful, and also a lot of their correspondences. Correspondences are always a good thing to have. Now more of the physical tools. You have Crystal, Gem, and Metal Magic. Gives you an understanding of how they're used and a lot of the reasoning behind it. Oh, this is the Encyclopedia of Crystal, Gem, and Metal Magic. And you have pretty pictures to help identify a lot of the stones. Not saying all of them are in there, but there's quite a few. Along with crystals, you have the crystal bowls and crystal balls that I so said backwards by Ted Andrews, which definitely helps and give you a little understanding of how to use them, and mostly for like divination. In our next section, we have a couple books that are more of like actual like structuring of spells, and a couple correlations. And this first one, it's a very old one. I've had this for a very long time, as you could probably tell. It's very old. Not sure if this one is still in print, but if you can find it, great choice. This one gives like actual basics of actual spellcraft. It will show you the basic setup of an altar, a working altar, and also gives quite a few different spells for different things that you might want to do. And of course, next will be The Elements of Spellcrafting by Jason Miller. Gives you more in depth on actually manifesting what you want to do. It's The Elements of Spellcrafting, 21 Keys to Successful Sorcery. Very eye-opening, very helpful, and will definitely bring you to a level that getting to what you want to do. The next one would be Seal, Sigil, and Call by J.R. MASCARO. This one is a book about like ritual magic. Definitely helps give you a lot of insight whether you want to do full-on ceremonial magic or not. Definitely a great read. And these last two are not very old books. They just came out not too long ago. Along with the next two, which kind of go together. You have Psychic Witch and Mastering Magic, both by Matt AURYN. Completely different way of actually performing magic. Also helps with learning how to control the energies to actually put it out there, which basically is the basis of witchcraft, occultism, granny magic, folk magic, that type of stuff. Great reads, very eye-opening also. On a little side note, if you like what you see, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon so you get informed of when my next video will be out. And definitely leave a little comment down below telling me what you want to see. Any spells you want me to show you, that type of stuff. In our next little section are two books about spells and rituals that most people start with. Protection. The first one is by Rest of Nail and Prick of Thorn. The Theory and Practice of Effective Home Warding by Althea Sebastiani. Great book to learn how to protect your home and make those little wards and protections to make sure that what you don't want coming into your house doesn't come. And more generalized is Protection and Reversal Magic by Jason Miller. This really is a witch's defense manual. Great book. Great place to start on actually doing protection magic. Good choice. And not too expensive. The next two books I would definitely say are very niche thing. And pretty much would only be very informative if you want to know about the North American folk magic. You got the complete book of North American folk magic, which gives you a lot of history, a lot of meanings behind a lot of what was going on. Each section is a different area of North America, and also gives a lot of explanation to those practices. Very much niche thing if you are in North America. Same with New World Witchery. A lot of history, a lot of different practices, and a lot of good spells from specific practices. Our next one, well, the next two are more of traditional witchcraft. You got The Crooked Path. It's an introduction to traditional witchcraft. And traditional witchcraft doesn't necessarily mean that it's ancient or old. Traditions are what you make of them. It can become your tradition. But this book definitely is a great introduction if you're diving into traditional witchcraft. Oh, this one is written by KELDEN. And the previous two were Corey Thomas Hutchison. I apologize if I butchered his name. Sorry, Corey. And our next one is Bessem's Staining Sword. Definitely a great book, very informative on traditional witchcraft and the sixfold path and the hidden landscape by Christopher Orapello and Tara Love McGuire. Great book, very informative, and definitely great read. Now our next little section and our last little section. A little bit of books about deities. This one specifically is The Goddess in the Shadow. This is actually a book about working with specific dark goddesses and shadow work. Warning with shadow work, it can be very taxing on yourself, and if you have difficulties with mental illness, definitely don't dive into shadow work lightly, because you really do find those inner shadows and traumas. If you do have difficulties with mental illness, definitely work with a therapist or counselor while working with shadow work. But this book specifically does have a few of good goddesses to work with. Very protective, but also not necessarily the shiny, happy type goddesses. There's no Aphrodite in there, no goddess of love. And next we have 4 different books specific around one deity that is been in the forefront in the last numerous years. Hecate, of course. Good introduction to Hecate is Keeping Her Keys by Cindy Brannon. Great book, great place to start. Amazing read. Got a couple little tabs for a reason, but there's a whole lot of highlighting in here. Another good one is Hecate, goddess of witches. She isn't just the goddess of witches. She is the goddess of quite a few things, like the keys. She is linked to a lot of things. Crossroads, the underworld, land, sky, sea. Yeah. On to my point. Also a great book to start with. As you can tell with all of the different tabs that we have going here. The next 2 are also from Cindy Brannon. You have Entering Hecate's Garden, The Magic, Medicine, and Mystery of Plant Spirit Witchcraft. Also, great links to Hecate, obviously. And the last one would be Entering Hecate's Cave, The Journey Through Darkness to Wholeness. Great book. Now those last 4 books, probably very niche if you're interested in learning about Hecate. Great place to get a lot of information. I believe Cindy Brannon does have a lot of online resources. Now keep a watchful eye out for the next episode, where I show you how to do a protection spell. And remember, if you like what you see here, make sure you like and subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to get informed when the next episode will be airing. And also, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you want to see. Or maybe a spell you want me to show you. See you next time. Bye.